Conference of the Birds, Prologue. All praise to him who as creator gives a soul to dust, so that it moves and lives, whose breath gives life to creatures, who decrees his throne's foundation on the watery seas, who gave the heavens preeminence and laid the earth here as the humblest place he made. One he gives movement to perpetually, and to the other immobility. The heavens are like a tent he raised, although no pole supports it from the earth below. He made the 7 planets in 6 days. He made the 9 spheres with a 2-word phrase. And on the moving firmament at night he set the stars as heels of golden light. He gave life different forms, each like a snare that traps the bird that is the spirit there. The seas wept in submission and revered him. The mountains bowed before his might and feared him. He made the seashore thirst, and he alone drew musk from blood and rubies from stones. He gave the soul its pure, consistent core, and did all this from dust and nothing more. By his religious laws, he tamed and checked the workings of the stubborn intellect. And with the soul he made the flesh alive, while faith ensured the living soul would thrive. He set high mountains as his chieftains, proud and strong and tall, beneath which countries bowed. He made flowers bloom in fire. He cleared a track through waters when he held the oceans back. He caused a gnat to buzz in someone's brain 400 years and sent his foe insane. He made a spider weave a web to save the Lord of all the world within a cave. He made an ant a hair-tip size present itself to Solomon in argument. He robed Abbasid caliphs in their glory and told them Ptah and sin's mysterious story. He saw the needle, Jesus' robes concealed it, and stitched the secret there, and so revealed it. He tipped the tulip flowers with blood and made the water lily's flower a smoky shade. He soaked dust grains in blood, and in the ground bright agates and red rubies could be found. And day and night the sun and moon adore him and bow their heads down to the earth before him. How could they not bow down, since all creation derives its being from profound prostration? His generosity ensures day's light, his drawing back the darkness of the night. He made its golden torque the parrot's pride. He made the hoopoe as our journey's guide. The bird of heaven flies to him and throws itself against his door. With suppliant blows, he gives the heavens alternate day and night, withdrawing darkness and bestowing light. He breathed on dust and man was made. He made the universe from foam and smoky shade. At times he'll let a dog approach his throne. At times a cat's the way his way is shown. When he selects a lowly dog, he can transform this dog into a lion like man. And for the heavens he has placed upon their spheres as steersmen the revolving sun. He makes a staff like Solomon's, or teaches an ant that the means of making human speeches. He makes a staff take on a snake-like form, or from an oven he can start a storm. He makes a camel come out from a stone, or makes a golden calf cry out and groan. He pours down silver in the winter's cold, and then, when autumn comes, he scatters gold. As though one drew blood with a dart, his power makes little rosebuds burst with blood and flower. He gives the jasmine flower its foretold hood. He gives the tulip flower its cap of blood. He crowns the wild narcissus with bright gold. Where dew forms pearls, a marvel to behold. Through him our reason lives, our hearts are given. Through him the earth is fixed, through him moves heaven. He makes the mountains firm and makes the sea liquid with shame before his sovereignty. The earth is dust before his might no more. The skies are but the knocker on his door. There are 8 spheres of heaven, hell has 7. Hell is a spark to him, his threshold's heaven. Within his unity creation's drowned. Drowned, no, annihilated, never found. From fish to moon all particles attest to him and make his essence manifest. Although the earth and heavens one by one sufficiently attest to all he's done, he brings forth fire and earth, blood, wine-blown air, and shows his secrets to us everywhere. For 40 days he fashioned us from dust, then placed the soul within us as a trust. The soul gave life to lifeless dust, and he then gave us reason so that we should see. When reason saw, he gave intelligence to bring us knowledge, understanding, sense. When man was granted knowledge, he confessed to wonder weakness as though dispossessed, and bowed before his throne, as in the end all bow there. Be they enemy or friend, his wisdom guides all, rules and all restraints all. And what's more wonderful is it sustains all. He nailed the mountains to the earth, then he washed clean the earth's face with the mighty sea. Earth rests upon a cow, a wondrous pair, the cow upon a fish, the fish on air. The air on what? On what is substanceless, the nothingness that is all nothingness. Think of the art and skill of this great king, who upon nothings rested everything, since all that is must rest by his decree. On nothing it is nothing, certainly. He's manifest within the least, the whole. That's but a fragment of his perfect soul. His throne's upon the sea, earth floats on air, but he is all, and he is everywhere. The world is names and signs, in truth it's he who brings its sole reality. This world, the world to come, and all besides are him. Know this, that nothing else abides. There is one essence, but diffused, deflected. There is one word, but variously inflected. A man must know the king and recognize him, although 100 different clothes disguise him. It's not an error in this way to see him, since he is all and everything must be him. The error is when a man presumes to state that what he sees and God are separate. Alas, men have no strength, although the sun is shining. Blindness hampers everyone. See this and lose yourself, your reason. See that he is all there is and all is he. How strange it is that men seek pardon, say that they repent, then try to run away. O you, who in your hiding are revealed, you're all the world, it's man who is concealed. Flesh hides the soul, and there within it, you, the soul's soul, hide, quite hidden from our view. Before all and beyond all, you who see that everything's from your reality. Your roof and gate are filled with sentries. How is any man to find or reach you now? Our soul and reason can't discern your presence, and no one knows your attributes or essence, although you are the treasure that's inside each soul, where soul and body are allied. No soul can grasp you, and the prophets cast their lives away to reach to you at last. If reason sought you out, it would be far from ever knowing that you truly are. You are eternal being, and all hands submit obediently to your commands. You're in the soul, outside the soul, and you are not what I declare, but are that too. In your court wisdom reels by pathless ways in seeking you. Our errant wisdom strays. Through you I see the world, and yet I see no sign of you in its immensity. All men attest to you, and yet you've known no sign. To you alone the secret's known. The heavens have found no trace of you. The skies can't glimpse your track. For all their staring eyes, the earth can find no scrap of you, no shred, in all the dust it heaps upon its head. For love of you, the sun goes mad each night. It smears its face with mud and hides its light. The moon too melts for you. We see it yield to you in awe and throw away its shield. The sea's in turmoil in its longing for you, dragging its stained skirt and dry lips before you. The mountains have such heights they have to climb to reach you, while they're mired in mud and slime and fire on fire to reach you. Strains and glares and throws out stubborn flames and angry flares. The wind's gone wild without you, choleric and mad, an empty-handed lunatic, and water in its longing, filled with fears, displays its ardor in dissolving tears. While earth has piled itself against your door, its head in ashes now forevermore. But how much should I say when I've no way to say your attributes in what I say? If you my heart will seek and try to find, watch well what is before and what behind, and see the seekers at his court's door who have crowded on this way to him like you. Each atom reaches here through its own gate. Each takes a different road to gain this state. And what do you know of the way before? You now, the path you'll follow to his door. Seek him in what you see, and he's not there. Seek him in secrets, and he's everywhere. Search for him in the world, he hides away. Search in what's dark, and he's clear as day. Seek him in both, since he is both and either, and you will find that he is there in neither. But since you haven't lost a thing, don't seek it. And since your formulation's wrong, don't speak it. The things you seek and know are you, and so it's you 100 ways you're forced to know. Know him, not by yourself. His ways, his own from him. It's not what wisdom says. He cannot be described by any man. No wretch, no sage can do this. No one can. Weakness and knowledge are milk sisters who fail equally to say whatever's true. Men's words about him are but dreams, and they cannot define him by the words they say. They say he's good or bad, but all they've said, it's really words about themselves instead. He is beyond all knowing, since his grace cannot be seen or traced to any place. No sign of him's the only sign he gives, and man must give to him the life he lives. Since man, no matter how he turns and twists, knows nothing of him, save that he exists. The atoms in both worlds are your illusion, and all you know of him is more confusion. Where he is, man is not. Man couldn't thrive there, so how could any person's soul arrive there? He is 100,000 times beyond man's soul, and all I've said falls short of the whole. Reason despairs, consumed by its lament. Souls bite the finger of astonishment. Reason can't reach this treasure's home, and where the soul resides, this treasure isn't there. What is the soul but crazed with longing for him? What is the heart but soaked with blood before him? You seek the truth, and you should cease to seek to frame it in the metaphors you speak. The soul and reason are confounded by him. Reason's amazed, the soul's dumbfounded by him. And all his envoys, all his prophets, caught no more than glimpses of the whole they sought, and bowed down in the dust in reverence, and willingly confessed their ignorance. How can I boast I know reality? He knows, and he alone, and only he. Because in both worlds he alone exists. Who's there beside him? These are dreams and mists. Waves rise from him. He is an endless sea. And you know nothing. Learn your ABC. Whoever does not find that sea will find that he is nothing, lost and left behind. How can what's talked about exist, and how can any profound I, declare that now? Don't say that he, no word can specify him. Don't breathe a word, since none identify him. No word or phrase contains him or confines him. No man has insight into what defines him. You cease to be, this is perfection's way, and lose yourself, there is no more to say. Lose your poor self in him, this is the goal. The rest is mere distraction for your soul. Choose oneness, shun duality, and find one heart, one place to pray, one focused mind. Your Adam's child, but ignorant, strive rather to have the sense and wisdom of your Father, to whom the various beings God created from nothingness bowed down as subjugated. When making Adam's nature, he concealed it behind 100 different veils to shield it, and said, O Adam, they bow down before you, be generous to them as they adore you. And he who did not bow was cursed and driven, deprived of knowledge from the court of heaven. His features were all blackened as he cried, Don't leave me, Lord, alone and vilified. And God replied, Accursed and loathsome thing, Adam's my regent here, your Lord and King. Be as his talisman today, tomorrow, burn, rue against the evil eye and sorrow. What is more wonderful than when the soul enters the flesh and part becomes the whole, the soul so high, the earthly flesh so low? Now one, the soul above, the earth below. When high and low united in one span, earth's most mysterious miracle was man. But no one grasped this mystery, this state. That's not for any beggar to debate. We cannot understand, we cannot know, and in our hearts we'll always feel this woe. Silence is best, why talk about it, why? Since courage here's as feeble as a sigh. Yes, many know the surface of this sea, but no one's plunged into its mystery. There's treasure in those depths, and for its sake the world, this talisman, will crack and break. The treasure will be yours, since when the flesh is gone, the soul will rise up from its mesh. Your soul will be the talisman, then bidden to be the body bearing what is hidden. Go forward, don't ask where, and don't complain. Don't ask for remedies to ease your pain. How many sink within this ocean, drowned within its depths, of whom no trace is found? A world's a mote within this endless sea, a mote's a world in its immensity. The world's a bubble in the sea, take note of this. As is the tiniest little mote, one mote or world the less, what difference could this make in an ocean so immense? I've given reason, soul, faith, heart to see this mote in its ideal entirety. Don't ask about his throne, don't talk at all. Stifle your questions now, however small. Your reason's puzzled even by a hair, so both your lips together and beware. No one can comprehend this mote, so cease to ask so many questions, go in peace. What is this universe, this baseline place, this topsy-turvy and unstable space? And when you think of him, you try and fail to pass beyond the veils within that veil. But how can our confused perplexity begin to understand his sovereignty? How can the turning heavens penetrate his secrets in their still unstable state? How can they see beyond that veil when they are set upon their whirling, wandering way? When for so many years they've turned around, so that the ground's the sky's the ground. And if they've failed to see beyond this veil, how is it possible that you'll prevail? The world is lessons, longing, discontent, bewilderment within bewilderment. The way grows longer every hour, and we each hour sink deeper in perplexity. Do you know what travelers see? They see that they must go for ever further on the way. If there were ends to what is infinite, or numbers stopped, they might encompass it. I've seen a wondrous workshop where men shed the selves that they were born with, as if dead. Since to the self cannot be shown. A mote self by a mote remains unknown. All's turned around and upside down, all bite their hands and turn their faces to the wall. Myself annoys me, I want only you, and yours is all the good and bad I do. I'm nothing without your glance will make me complete and perfect. Look, and don't forsake me. Glance at my blood-drenched, suffering heart and choose me. Rescue me from the many. Don't refuse me. If for the briefest moment you reject me, no one will seek my dust out or respect me. But who am I that you should choose to prize me? It is enough for me that you despise me. How can I claim that I'm your poor Hindu when I'm your street dog slave, if he's near you? My soul's your slave, though black and with longing for you. A black slave branded desperate to adore you. Yes, I'm your Hindu slave, if any man is. My heart's as black now as an African is. Don't sell your branded slave, but have me wear your earring, as I'm yours now everywhere. No one's excluded from your grace. For me your ring and brand suffice eternally. May happiness not visit any who aren't happy in their hearts to long for you. You are my balm, but hurt me now, since I, without the touch of pain, will surely die. All disbelief and faith are atoms to the pain that Attar knows in serving you. O Lord, you hear me cry, O Lord, you're there throughout my darkest night. In my despair, this night so long, send me day's happiness. Send me your gracious light in my distress. Be my support in darkness, stand beside me, since there is no one else to help or guide me. Give me faith's glorious light. Annihilate myself's dark night, and that holds me in this state. I am an atom, lost here in the shade. I lack the substance of which being's made. I am a beggar of the sovereign sun. Of all its rays may I be touched by one, so that this dizzy mote that's me may dance and clap my hands within his radiance, and rising through this aperture take flight into the real and living world of light. Until my soul is ready to depart, I'm still that person that I was at heart. But when my soul departs at my last breath, I've only you as I encounter death. When I forsake this earth, how shall I grieve and suffer if you're absent as I leave? But souls you're with can journey on, since you can do whatever you intend to do. Those who have traveled on this way before were motivated by religion's lore, but found their souls bewildered, stupefied, with weakness and desire dissatisfied. Look at what Adam bore, the lifetime's woe our ancestor was forced to undergo, and Noah, who survived the flood, whose life was harried by 1,000 years of strife. And look at Abraham, whose home became a cruel contraption filled with fire and flame, and Ismael, who trembled to discover he was to be the sacrificial lover. And look at Jacob, wild with grief and blind from weeping for the son he could not find, and Joseph, who found greatness, but who first endured the well and was enslaved and cursed. And look at suffering Job, who was the prey of worms and wolves that gnawed his flesh away, and Jonah, who was lost, and whose sad tale brought him inside the belly of the whale. And look at Moses' fate, marked from the womb, Pharaoh his nurse, his cradle as his tomb. And David, who made coats of mail, who melted with inward heat and grief the steel he smelted. And look at Solomon, whose wealth was scattered upon the winds, whose kingdom demons shattered, and the ardent Zechariah then, who said, no word as men sawed open his poor head. And look at John, his life snuffed out, his fate to have his head displayed upon a plate, and Jesus at the cross's foot, whom Jews so often sought to harry and abuse. Look at the best of prophets, see what he endured from unbelievers' tyranny. And this choice seemed an easy thing to you, to lose your souls, the least you'll have to do. But why should I say more? Why should I talk? I've plucked the roses, every single stalk, and suddenly I find I'm dizzy, weak, bewildered now, and with no power to speak, and seeking wisdom's way, I'm lost, forlorn. I'm like a little child that's just been born. And how can I, so small and destitute, reach from the womb now to the absolute? Unknowable, invisible you reign, beyond all attributes of loss and gain, unaided by good Moses' piety, unharmed by evil Pharaoh's infamy. O God, immeasurable, boundless, who is limitless and infinite like you. Surely no worldly thing is infinite. What could exist without an end to it? O world, mankind is mute, our senses fail, with wonder while you're hidden by this veil. Remove the veil, don't let my soul's life burn. With longing any longer, let me learn. I'm dizzy, lost in seas of discontent. Save me from my confused predicament. I'm reeling in a whirlpool kept outside. The inwardness's veil exists to hide. Save your slave now from this estranging sea. You plunged me in it, you must rescue me. Myself is drowning me, come seize my hand. Since if you don't, I'll never gain dry land. My folly smeared my soul with dirt, I swear, that being filthy's something I can't bear. Cleanse my soul of filth, or spill my blood, kill me and make me one with dirt and mud. Men fear you, but I fear myself. This devil replaces all the good you give me with evil. I'm dead, I crawl upon the earth. Oh, give my soul life, my Creator, let me live. Heathens, believers, all are blood-soaked here. They're dizzy, or they stray and disappear. The dizzy ones are those elected by you. The wanderers are those rejected by you. O King, I drown in blood, and like the skies, I whirl round in perpetual surprise. You said, I am beside you night and day. Seek constantly, don't ever turn away. If we're together, then as sun and shade, and you're the sun, and we're the shade you've made. Why is it, Lord, you can't bestow upon your shadows here the radiance of the sun? My heart is filled with grief, my soul with pain. My longings like a cloud, my tears like rain. But I must seek you out to stop and say, my grief to you would mean I'll lose my way. Guide me since I am lost, bestow on me good fortune since I come in poverty. Those souls who dwell with you are fortunate. They're lost in you. It is themselves they hate. I don't despair, but worry draws me on. Of every 100,000, he'll choose one.